Special. Starring Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford as Han Solo, Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia, with special guest star Beatrice Arthur.
Welcome back to Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. We're dismembering dudes. We just fought a Reborn.
Disarmed a Greedo.
Got two more Greedos.
And
he had double
Hondo.
heads.
And another Hondo.
You know what I watched recently?
What?
Star Wars related. Galaxy's Edge: Adventure Awaits on Disney Plus.
Is that
was
like
that?
an intro to theme park?
That was
Was
the
that
intro.
theme park
It
one?
was like with Neil Patrick Harris, Keegan-Michael Key.
Why did you watch that? Why?
My dad came over. He doesn't have
Okay.
Disney Plus. I was trying to sell him on, what streaming services he could have. And I was like, hey, have you seen Mandalorian? He's like, no. It's like, it's fucking cool. It's just like Star Wars, but it's like more Western-y.
Yeah.
Way more Western-y. And then I was like, hey, let's look at, I've never seen this. It was under the Star Wars tab on Disney Plus. It was Galaxy's Edge. Adventure Awaits. And it showed all these like really funny.
Did you just slap his lightsaber back at him?
I did, by throwing my lightsaber at him.
Okay, sorry. I got distracted. Continue.
So what happens
Holy
is
shit.
Neil Patrick Harris hosts this thing where they basically go and tour this place and show you what you can expect if you go there.
Yeah.
And so like there's scenes of like Rey taking these kids aside and saying like, all right guys, when I say ignite the spark, you say to ignite the fire or something like that. All these kids like gather around
How
and she's
high?
like basically she's indoctrinating these kids that are showing up
Sounds like the Jedi.
to the
Turning
Jedi
into
way.
child soldiers.
Yep.
Yeah.
As is
So
the
she's like,
Jedi
when I
way.
say ignite the spark or whatever, light the spark to ignite the fire, whatever the shit thing was, the kids had to like say it, and that was like the password that the kids knew. And then Kelly Cuoco, is that her name?
Kaylee Cuoco.
Kaylee Cuoco. She showed up. She's like, "Oh, what am I doing?" And like stormtroopers, those stupid like intros. Like she gets stopped. She gets stopped by stormtroopers, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, me? What am I doing? I'm holding my data pad to translate Arabesh." And there's like a really dumb pause
Why
because
would you...
everything in Star Wars world has Arabesh on stuff, and it all like has hidden messages. Like, oh, you could like crack the code and like find neat little things.
Arabish.
So, and that was like her only segment was like showing like I got this data pad on my phone, and like the stormtroopers like, hey, what's that you got there? And they're like, pointing at it.
Must have been between jobs between Big Bang Theory and the Harley Quinn show, and just kind of.
Maybe.
She's the voice of Harley in that.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I'm sure she does great, but in this
She
it
does.
was very corny.
When they
Super
said she was
horny.
going to be Harley, I was like, ooh, that's probably not good. Yeah, you got rocked, dude.
Some
I
trip
saw your
mines
face. Your
right
face
there.
was
I watched it and I was like, oh no, she was good. Yeah, that
Hey, we got
just
Force
sounds like just
It's a cringe fest.
yeah, doesn't
It
sound fun.
sounds like
They
it.
showed the how to build your own R2.
Fuck away from me.
So Sarah Hyland, do you know who that is from
Yep.
like
From
Modern Family?
yeah.
She showed up and she's like, "Oh, I'll make my own R2," and she makes basically R2 in that little droid place. And then I didn't watch the whole thing, so I'm sure that they did the saber.
Who'd they get to do the saber?
It was probably Neil.
Someone else from a TV show that's
Some
now
random TV
over.
show. Yeah. So like, yeah, Sarah Hyland, Neil Patrick, like they were all in like shows. I don't know if Modern
and Kelly
Family still.
Cuoco.
Yeah.
No, Modern Family just ended.
And then Keegan-Michael
Last
Key showed up.
fall.
He actually had a good part because he talked about like what Star Wars meant to him,
Yeah,
and nobody else really had like a good backstory.
it's because nobody else cares.
Who cares about Star Wars? But he was cool. Yeah, he was like, when I was little and I did like good things, like I did my chores and stuff like that, my dad would bring us to see Star Wars: A New Hope. You know, and it was always like a cool event. Like if I got everything done, it was like a treat.
Yeah,
And it was like a really cool
God.
time to connect with my dad. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Why?
hey, that's really sweet.
Get me
yeah.
out of this.
Like that's what Star Wars is about.
Especially since you're chilling with your dad.
Yeah, you're hanging out with your dad, you're watching a cool show, and like it's nothing you've ever seen before. Like as a kid, like
Yeah.
when I was growing up, yeah, Star Wars was like normalized because I like had all this other media that was like along the same vein as it because it's been around for so long.
Yeah. you benefited from Star Wars success.
So it's not like it wasn't something brand new. Like when people went to see Star Wars when it came out, it's like, this is like crazy.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Oh, I'm really glad he got bugged on the doorway there.
Yeah, same.
Right.
So then he won't go through these fucking trip mines or get blasted or...
So you'd have to push him back, like, stay back, damn it.
I fell asleep to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles last night.
I love that
The
movie.
movie?
I know, so good. Yeah.
It's such a good movie. And they're planning on remaking it with Willie Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith and fucking
Kevin
Kevin
Hart.
Hart.
It's not gonna work. But I'm really sick of...
Just leave it.
Do you know what it's going to be? It's going to be Kevin Hart being like, ah!
It's hard enough. It's hard
Well, it's
enough
gonna
to
be Kevin Hart shrieking and Will Smith just going, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like
Will
Dion Blaster?
Smith is going to be the Steve Martin character.
Oh,
They should just do that.
Will you
Make
know?
it 1080.
Make a 1080 movie and
Will Smith be
play
Dion Blast?
Dion Blaster.
You know, Will Smith's going to be the Steve Martin character.
Yep.
And
Kevin Hart's going to be
Kevin
John
Hart's
Candy.
going to be John Candy, even though like he's obviously not going to be a shower curtain ring salesman. But yeah,
Double
it's
pay torture.
just like,
Do you think Kevin Hart can
it's
sell?
hard-
Do you think Kevin Hart can sell that
No.
really desperate, like really hopeless
no.
stuff John Candy does? Because he did
Talented,
it so
talented
great.
man, talented man. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think so.
John Candy sold that. Like he was
Yeah.
hilarious during the movie, but like when that part hits where you find out that his wife died,
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, this movie hits me so much harder
and
now.
it builds up to it because there's several times where you see him kind of get beat down a little bit, and then it gets back to normal, and then there's like the big blowout in the hotel room.
Yep.
And you see him kind of get like a little weepy, a little teary-eyed and shit, and then it builds to that, and you're like, oh.
It's one of okay. It's actually my grandpa's favorite movie.
Oh, really?
My grandpa didn't watch movies.
Yeah.
He watched baseball.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
He watched reruns of baseball for most of his life because he was a war veteran that really got into the liquor after the war because that's the only way to cope.
Yep.
And he didn't he didn't go to therapy like
No.
you would do now for shell shock they called
Nothing
it back
was
then.
normalized at that point.
And at the time that I was around him, there was no such thing as PTSD. It was all just shell shock, and he coped with drinking. But he loved that movie.
Yeah.
He loved.
great movie.
That's the only movie he had on VHS was Planes, Trains, and we got it for him
Nice.
for one Christmas when it came out.
Nice.
Nice.
That movie is excellent. And you can't. So, it's hard enough to make a sequel to a comedy, because let alone a remake of a comedy, right? So sequels are hard because of the comedies. The reason they work is the set of circumstances, the people, right? It's a crafted, put together thing.
It's like Todd Phillips' Hangover Trilogy.
Yeah. That's what, it's hard. Dumb and Dumber 2 didn't really pan out.
Ace Ventura 2.
Yeah, but that was that's because they were just let's
Let's
go
just-
a completely
Let's
different
throw
way.
him somewhere.
'Cause
let's go to Africa.
A lot
let's
of
go somewhere crazy.
because the only quote unquote surefire, not necessarily meaning it would be successful, but way to replicate is to do a similar circumstance, right?
Wouldn't that be awesome to have an Ace Ventura 3 now? Because
I know, right?
it's just as goofy.
Right.
The first one, he was a detective for animals, but he was
And then
a
they were
damn good detective.
And then they're like, let's just go all out.
Yep.
Do something weird.
It's the bat, and what is he scared of? He's scared of bats.
Yeah.
And you find
Bumblebee
out
tuna.
Bumblebee Tuna, the Rhino scene,
Shawshank Redemption, Shish Kebab.
Yep.
shish kebab.
Chicago.
Go.
That's
Fucking-
it. You're out.
You're at it. Go on.
When he's doing the fight thing or whatever in that tribe, and he gets the spears in the legs,
Yep.
and the it's just it created just as
Goofy stuff.
quotable things. The only thing that had in common was the character
Yep.
of Ace Ventura
And Spike the monkey.
and my boy.
It was.
That's where I fucking you hear my fucking because I got,
You got a little excited.
That's where there's the scene where he pokes his eyeball. Yeah. I can do that. Yeah. That's where I
oh,
learned-
my finger's really
I
dry.
learned how to do that.
Yeah, he's like, don't do that. I hate my brother used to do that to me.
Yeah, I learned how to do that because of that movie.
Yeah.
I learned how to
Same
jump
here.
out of a rhino's ass.
Oh, dude.
Oh, dude, you ever jumped out of a
I joined
rhino's
the
ass,
team.
bro?
Like, there's a summer club for that.
Yeah,
The Rhino Ass Club, dude. Called it RAC for short.
Yes.
I love that scene because the kid at the end was like, "Cool."
Who's
Dude,
this guy?
when he rolls up in that Jeep or whatever, and it rolls, literally rolls up,
Like
like
a
it
glove.
rolls up in the end and lands in the parking spot.
Oh, shit.
Like a glove.
That was
And I
a-
just like,
Because you see him do that in the first
Anticlimactic,
movie, but he like
right?
does a sweet like drift in.
yep. This time,
This
no.
time he's like, nah, he's just tumbling in.
Yep. And then there's that so much.
And you see him like, you see a shot, I think, in the car when he's pre-spinning, and he's like,
There is gorilla rape in that movie though, right?
Yeah.
Then that guy get taken into the bushes, and then fucking you
Yep.
see the bushes shake, and you hear that. So there's that.
there's gorilla rape, there's
Oh, you just killed the boss.
there's
dude.
poaching. Remember that scene when he goes to the poacher's like room? He's like, how about you hang out here? And he's like, this is a room full of death.
Yeah, yeah. The main bad guy.
Yep.
That's the guy that gets raped by the gorilla, isn't it?
Yep.
Or no, or is that his big burly guard guy? Was it him or the? Because he had that big like, I don't remember. It was
You gotta
good.
watch it
And then
again.
the opening of that movie too was a parody of fucking
Cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Cliffhanger.
cliffhanger. Oh,
The
shit.
raccoon.
The raccoon.
Hold on, little buddy.
Yep. And then they find him in the fucking temple.
Yep, he's at the ashram.
Yes.
He's meditating with all the animals with him, and they crack the champagne when he leaves.
Yep.
There's like, he's gone.
Yep.
And they're just getting so crazy.
That's how you do a comedy sequel, right? You don't try to retread the same ground to produce similar results. You have to just like throw it all out and go somewhere completely different with it.
And on our next episode, I'll talk to you guys about Bill and Ted.
Oh shit.
On the Star Wars special,